Hey folks, this is our 5th ever episode of the Child Safety Resource. We're kind of doing it on the fly here in the office because Michael here is visiting from Michigan, and he's an ISR instructor and a super interesting dude with a really cool history, and how he got into ISR is interesting, and what he's doing now with the business is really interesting. And so I had him captured here for a little bit, so I wanted to get him on and see what he had to say. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
All the way from Michigan.
All the way from
And
Michigan.
your arms aren't tired? Yeah. So you're here for the Live Like Jake 5K.
That's correct. We had a infant swimming resource had a recertification the last couple of days.
Okay.
So
That's cool. They time it at the same time. That makes sense.
Yeah, they have one right before and then right after, so it brings more instructors in.
That's
They're able
nice.
to do the recertification and then, of course, participate in the amazing Live Like Jake race with Carrie and all the amazing stuff and work that she has done.
And you told me before this is your second time doing it, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah. And what do you think, what was the first time? What was your favorite part of it?
The inspiration you get from hearing the stories of Carrie's story and the other parents who have lost a child to drowning, and just the resolve that it gets you to go out and find the next student to
Right.
teach, to save themselves. Heaven forbid they ever reach the pool
Sure.
alone.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I've heard Casey, who was actually on the show a couple days
Yes.
ago, who you saw, he's been to the race a couple times. He's running in it tomorrow.
Yes.
And he's got a little booth there. You'll see him. He said the same thing, that the stories are just, I mean, they're heart-wrenching, obviously, but they also kind of give you the fuel for the resolve to move forward.
They do. They inspire.
Yeah.
Greatly inspire.
Absolutely, to do the work you do. You kind of, it's easy to get bogged down in employees and
In
financial
the
statements
day-to-day,
and taxes
yes,
and
exactly.
all the mechanics of running a business, and you can forget that the reason you do it is to save lives.
That's right.
It is. We try not to, but it's hard. Absolutely. So, and you told me a little bit already, so you have to repeat yourself.
Sure.
But what is your kind of superhero origin story? How did you get started? How did you get in the business?
Well, right out of college, I started with Walmart, and I was a Walmart store manager for 11 and a half years. I left all that glitz and glamour behind, like I said, and started a merchandising company where I have teams that go out into retail stores and do resets on the shelf. Most of them are big, heavy, dirty work that
Right.
not a lot of people like to do. That was going really well. In 2004, I started that, and by 2008, I was really bored because I was doing the financials and the big customer service things, but I had some other people running the business, and
All the fun stuff that got you in it in the first place?
yes,
You weren't doing that anymore?
No,
Yeah.
exactly. So I wanted to do something with more meaning. Wanted to do something that I could get passionate about. I was actually going to become a massage therapist. I
Okay.
have a childhood friend who is a massage therapist. He does it like a little side job where he,
Right.
he makes some money, helps people heal. And
Yeah.
I saw the Miles video, the little boy with the blue cotton jumper that falls into the pool and rolls back to float.
Right.
That went viral back in 2007.
Right, great video.
Great video. And I don't think they had a fence. Which,
No, they didn't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So the that and having my youngest was 2 years old at the time. So I said, I have to get her in these lessons. I have a 1/4-acre pond in my backyard. There's no fence around the pond. It's
Right.
big, and it's 10 yards from my back door. So I researched, and there was an instructor that was 3 hours away. So I realized with the structure of ISR lessons, I was unable to do that.
Right, so you explain that. What is the structure of ISR lessons? It's 10 minutes per day, right?
We do 5 days a week.
Yep.
For 10 minutes a day. And it's usually 4 to 6 weeks. We really go at the pace of the child
Okay.
and go as fast as the child will let us go. So once I saw there were no instructors, I kind of talked to my wife and we researched it. And actually, the amount to become an ISR instructor then in 2008 was the exact same to the penny as it was to become a massage therapist for the
Oh, wow.
school that I already picked out. So the choice was easy. There was
Absolutely.
There's a massage therapist on every corner.
Sure.
I'm a guy, so that's kind of icky
Right.
to some people, right?
Sure, it is.
And
I prefer getting massaged by a woman.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
And so it really was an easy choice. The my first year teaching, the entire year I taught 30 students.
Okay.
The last session I just finished up, just one session I had 42
Gotcha.
this year. So after 11 years doing it, the business has grown. In 2011, I became a master instructor.
Okay.
So that means I get to teach new instructors how to do this. I've taught 23 instructors.
That's really cool.
So they're all out there teaching.
Are they mostly located near Michigan, or are they all over?
They're all over. California and
Do they come into you?
Texas.
You fly out to them?
Yeah, I went out
Okay.
to California. I taught 3 out there. I taught 4 in Texas.
Okay.
The rest have come to me.
Gotcha.
I guess. I taught 2 in Pittsburgh. I got to teach my sisters.
That's cool.
My 2 older sisters.
So do they do it, or they just wanted to know?
No, they do. Yeah, they're ISR
That's
instructors
awesome.
in Pittsburgh. Now, I trained them. They've been teaching for 1 year. So last year at this time I was there, getting to boss my big sisters around, getting revenge for all those years they used to pick on me. It was a lot of fun.
That's really
It was
cool.
a great training.
Yeah, absolutely. What a neat thing.
So I've taught about right around 1,000 students now.
Wow.
So it's been a great ride. I love it. Every day I can't wait to go to work.
Absolutely.
I tell people I get a 10-minute puzzle.
Right.
And I get a puzzle and I have 10 minutes to get as far along as the puzzle as I can, and then I get a new puzzle.
Right.
And then I get to work on that puzzle again tomorrow for 10
Right.
minutes. And, so it's very stimulating.
Until you solve it after the end of 30 days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, they'll come back in 6 months or a year.
Right.
For,
Refresher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they grow and get bigger, their body changes.
Sure.
So they need to know how to manage the water with their new body.
Gotcha. So explain to folks who don't know what ISR is. And
Infant Swimming Resource is a program that teaches kids as young as 6 months old how to survive in the water. So really we're teaching them how to come up to float and maintain a float. Once we are about a year, so really walking, then we can teach a swim, float, swim sequence. If the child gets to the water and falls in, they know how to roll back and float, rest and breathe, turn and swim for about 4 seconds, roll back and float again, rest and breathe, and continue that swim, float, swim sequence so they can reach a point of safety and get themselves out of the water. If they're in a place where they can't get to the edge, maybe the coping's too high,
Sure.
or we can't swim against the current, then we're just eventually rolling back
Floating.
and floating and maintaining the float. I think it's 86% of children that fall in the water are fully dressed,
yeah.
clothed at the time. If your child has their swimsuit on, you're probably watching them because you're going to be around the water. It's that time that they don't
Hopefully,
have their swimsuit
yeah.
on. Exactly. Hopefully.
Well,
Good parenting.
no,
I get
it
it.
happens
No,
at
absolutely.
a lot of party. You hear a lot of kids drowning at pool parties. Where they took the water wings off when you shouldn't have in the first place. Got them dry it off. Went inside to grab a towel or something.
Here's a great rule to follow. If you're going to be by a pool, if your child is going to be by a pool, if there's a pool party, you go or you say no. That's the rule. As a parent, nobody's going to watch your child like you watch your child.
Absolutely.
Absolutely nobody.
We talked about water watchers yesterday. We had
great program.
Alyssa McGrum, I might be saying Magrum, maybe. I might be saying that wrong. And she's with Collins Hope, which is an amazing organization. And she has the Water Guardian, same thing, water watchers, but
lanyard.
Lanyard or
yeah.
wristband or something. And, change every 10 to 15 minutes, right?
You can watch the bull for 10 or 15 minutes
Absolutely,
and not be
you know,
distracted. That's
I
fine.
mean-
When you have to watch the bull for 2 hours,
That's-
and the child is sitting on the steps with a cup of water,
Right.
like this, and the child is fascinated by
Sure,
this
yeah.
water displacement,
Yeah.
right? As adults, our eyes are rolled back in our head.
Yeah.
You can't watch that.
No, you can't. And I mean, even professional lifeguards.
That's true.
Because science has proven that your eyes can only look at something for so long before they start to glaze over, you get distracted. Even professional lifeguards can only do it for 20, 30 minutes. So
Incredible.
you can probably do 10, 15,
Right, yeah.
before you max out, you red
And
line.
then you're like, here,
Give
where's
it
my
to somebody
drink,
else, right? Exactly. So it's good to switch off just because you want to get back to the party, but more importantly because you can't do it for more than 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and when you think everybody's watching the pool, that
That's
means
when nobody
nobody's
is.
watching the pool.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's a psychological phenomenon called diffusion of responsibility, where the more people you think are doing something, the less you feel responsible to have to do it. So if everybody's around the pool, then you figure grandma, Auntie Jane, my husband,
Right.
everybody else is doing it. I'm good. I don't have to. It kind of takes the weight off of you. But if you're alone, that's why a lot of
you're
kids
alone,
drown when there's a party. But less kids drown if just mom is there with the kids, by
'Cause she
herself.
knows she has
Because
to
she knows
be
she has to
responsible
look.
for that
There's no confusion.
Yeah.
There's no communication errors. But you're right. Most kids drown with their clothes on.
So really, when we find it extremely important to teach that child in that environment that they potentially could be in.
Sure.
I want their first time to be in the water with clothes on with me
Right.
So that if we need to tweak a movement or change a behavior in the water, I could teach that.
Right, and just the
As
comfort level
opposed-
too, right?
Yes, as opposed to them just getting in and trying to figure it out on the fly.
Right.
You know, you don't want your 3-year-old to figure out how to float on the fly.
Absolutely not.
That's-
Well, I mean,
It's not gonna work.
Well, no, it's hard to learn how to do anything on the fly.
That's right.
Especially when you're panicked. and
Especially when you don't have an opportunity to breathe.
yeah, that makes it harder. You know?
It makes it a lot harder, and you have a lot less time to learn it.
Sure, absolutely. So you've been doing this for how long now?
It's my 11th year teaching.
That's really cool. And you were saying earlier, we were talking that, so you have staff now who does the bulk of the training for regular students, right?
Well, I do. Well, I still do the bulk of the
Okay.
training for but I have started hiring new instructors
Okay.
as hourly employees. So I have a lot of the marketing already set up. I have the system set up to people are already coming to my website. They're already coming to my email, my phone number. So we get all those, and then we direct those students to the pools we schedule for the instructors. So
Okay.
the instructors give us what their availability is, when they want to teach, and we fill up their schedule as much as we can.
Gotcha. But you were saying you'd like to focus now more on like special needs children.
I do. The goal is
You personally. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
The goal for me is to teach exclusively special needs students.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's my passion. It's amazing.
And what have you found is different about teaching a special needs student versus
You know,
or everything? I mean,
no,
or
actually,
nothing, you know, or somewhere
actually
between.
nothing. The hard part, or I guess the tricky part, not hard, is the
Any questions or no? Okay.
the
Who? Oh, Miranda's there. Nice. Go ahead.
the tricky part is to go with the pace of the student.
Okay.
And sometimes a special needs student needs attention at something you might not consider, or you
Okay.
might not, if you didn't have a lot of experience teaching, you might not notice. But honestly, to this date, any special needs student, and that's autism and Down syndrome and limb difference. I've taught a student who's blind. I have a student on my schedule when I get back who's deaf.
Oh wow.
And
How's your sign language?
very limited.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, but I have not had one go past 6 weeks yet. They've
Okay.
all learned in the same amount of time as any other student would learn. It's just looking and seeing behaviors and determining what to do next with that child. Every child's different, whether we have special needs or not, and we always cater our ISR lesson to the child, and that really helps that child learn at their pace as opposed to our curriculum.
Right.
Which our curriculum is, what is the child doing? Let's make a decision what to do next.
Absolutely. So how does, if one wanted to get ISR, what would they do? How much does it cost? Kind of what's the?
You would go to isrcareers.com,
Okay.
or if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, both. Why not?
Okay,
So, yeah,
if you wanted to be an instructor.
Yeah, that's that first.
So
Why not?
An instructor is isrcareers.com, and the last I knew, I think it's about $8,000
Okay.
to become an instructor. If you wanted your child to have the
And
infant
so
swimming
you
resource
go to
lessons,
isrcareers.com, fill out the website. Obviously, they have you in for a lot of training, right? There's a whole.
they do. There's
sort of-
about a 7-week curriculum.
Okay.
When I first became an instructor, I thought, okay, great, I'm going to go learn how to become a swim instructor.
Right.
It really has nothing to do with swimming and everything to do with behavioral psychology and learning how children learn.
Oh wow.
Children learn by sensory motor learning. They learn by doing. They learn by actively engaging their environment. So we have to allow them to do that safely in the water and take them through the process of learning to roll back and float and swim and kick and move your arms and the timing of the swim and the float. And so it's extremely interesting process
Yeah.
that we teach by, and it's very engaging, and it's actually changed my home life
Really?
and how I raise my children.
How so?
If I can figure out what the stimulus for behavior is, I can present the stimulus, allow the child, my daughter, to do whatever it is I wanted them to do, and then I could reinforce it
Okay.
without forcing my child. So, we still have family things that
course,
happen,
yeah.
and no, you're going to go clean your room whether
Right.
you want to or not. But the example is, how do you get a 3-year-old to eat her dinner?
Right.
If she don't want to eat, she's not eating.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
child abuse. Me trying to
Yeah.
to put the food in her mouth. So you can't. It's
But-
not
but-
something that I
but
can
you-
force her to
but
do.
But you need her to eat because if she dies, it's your fault.
Well, and she's
Yeah.
gonna eat when she's hungry. She's
Yeah.
not gonna die, but she's gonna be cranky in 2 hours because she's hungry,
Sure.
and it's bedtime.
Right.
So, okay, take one bite of your food, and you could be done. Well, of course she's going to take one bite of her food because she wants to be nice. So she takes a bite of food. I jump up and do the most ridiculous happy dance you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
Sit back down, look across the table at my wife and say, so how was your day, dear? Like nothing ever happened. And she's like, why'd you do that for, Dad?
Right.
I don't know. You want to take another bite of food?
Right.
She takes another bite of food. I get up and reinforce it.
Right.
So I provided the stimulus now with take one bite.
Right.
The reinforcer is Dad acts like an idiot and dances around the kitchen.
Right.
So she takes a bite. Pretty soon, the plate of food's gone.
Right.
So she ate it. I didn't get a bite to eat that day.
You got to work at it though.
I did.
Yeah.
I think at one point I hurt myself because I did a somersault on the
Nice.
hardwood floors. So the next day, she won't eat. Oh, no. Take one bite. She takes a bite. I do a happy dance. She takes another bite. Nothing.
Right.
Dad, why don't you do a happy dance? I don't know what you're talking about. Take another bite. She takes a bite. I do it. So then I slowly lean myself out.
Right.
And pretty soon she's eating her dinner, and then I do it once every week,
Right.
and then once every other month.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to do it anymore. She's just eating her dinner without the struggle of eat your dinner. I don't want to eat my dinner. To
Right.
cry, and then my wife's looking at me because I'm getting mad, and then she's getting mad, and then it's just a miserable evening at
Right.
home
Nobody's
with the
happy.
family.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
But that is how we teach ISR lessons. We set the environment up for the child to do something.
Right.
As the instructor, we reinforce it. Then we are more likely to get that behavior again, and that's how we teach.
That's perfect. I like it.
It's how children learn. So
It makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. And so, what if a parent wanted to get lessons for their child?
Infantswim.com,
Right.
and you can type in your zip code, and the closest instructor will pop up. I think the setting on the website is 20 to 30 miles. So when you type in your zip code, put in a higher number of miles if you can't find one.
Right.
Find an instructor, even if it's 60 or 70 miles. Contact the instructor. Maybe they'll come to you.
And if you wanted to leave some advice for parents to be safe around the pool, what would you tell them?
Layers of supervision always. Watch your child. There should be alarms on the back doors and the back windows. There should be a barrier, a lifesaver pool fence, in between the house and the pool. Mm-hmm. The last line of defense is giving your child the ability to know what to do when they're in that situation. Mm-hmm. You might have a pool, but the pond you're visiting at the park doesn't have a fence around it.
Sure.
The lake you're going to visit, the neighbors that you go visit might not have a fence around their pool. So the more layers you can set up, the more redundancy you can have, the less chance of failure of all of those. If your only thing you have is ISR lessons, if that happens to fail for some reason because the water's too cold or the child bumped their head as they went into the water, you go on chance.
Right.
If you have 5 or 6 layers, what are the chances of 5 or 6 layers breaking down?
Yeah, the more layers you have,
absolutely.
The closer you get to a fail-safe system.
Exactly.
Where you can't have a perfect fail-safe system,
Never.
but the closer you get. Right?
Exactly.
And what's nice about ISR or swim instruction in general is you protect the child, not the water.
Exactly.
Which I always thought was good.
I've heard the phrase "prepare the child for the path, not the path for the child."
Makes sense.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And then CPR, right? I always tell people it's
Absolutely.
not only a layer of protection that you're doing it afterwards, but in the event something happens, parents should know
what to
CPR.
do. That's right.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I don't want to make it sweat out here because it is super hot in this room.
Really?
Yeah, and it's Florida, and he's from Michigan.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, he's from Michigan, which means he's melting.
Why do I have to chew my air?
Yeah.
It's all humid.
Yeah,
I'm running a race tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I don't know why you are. That's a terrible idea.
Walking or jogging.
Yeah. It's not bad for me. I'm used to it, but yeah, I'm surprised I haven't melted into my black couch either, which is terrible.
Thanks.
Good deal, man. Well, thank you so much. It was really
You're
great.
Thank you for having me. This has been
Absolutely.
fantastic. Great to meet you.
Awesome. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.